Well, hello and welcome to a new location for me. This is one of the RSPB sites just across the border in Somerset. This is RSPB Greylake. I've only just arrived, I've never been here before, so let's head on and see what we can see. Oh, swans. A whole family of them just sitting in the... A whole family of swans just sitting in the middle of the road. Had to get a shot of that. I hope we get past these reeds at some point. They're a good 8 to 10 feet high, and the chances of spotting any wildlife in amongst this lot, I think, are fairly remote. But it looks like a well-maintained path. Actually, I would say this is very accessible. It's a little overgrown in places, needs a bit of a cutback, but I'm sure you could get down here with a pushchair or in a wheelchair. Now, I've just been in this hide. It's a very well appointed hide. Loads of windows, seats, plenty of room. There's a few other people in there, but sadly, not that much to see. There was a kingfisher. I got a couple of shots of that one in the reeds and then on a post in the water. Just come to this second hide. It's more a blind than a hide, this one. Let me flip you around. There we go. This is called the tree house. Nice wide open views of nothing to see. Now, I don't know whether you can see that, but I've spotted, I think it's a great white egret. I'm going to get the camera out and have a look. I'm not sure about RSPB Greylake. Now, I think that later on in the year, once these reeds have died back or been cut back, when you can see a lot more, I think this is going to be more of a winter location. So some of the birds that head up north for the summer might well come back here for the winter. And I think it's worth coming back at least once to have a look and see. Now, well, I feel sure this is a very short episode today. I'll probably even tack it onto something else. So that's it from RSPB Greylake. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you again here sometime. Well, good morning from a new location for me. I've come down today really on a scouting mission. It's a little bit later than I would have liked. It's just gone 9 AM. It's taken me an hour and a half to get down here. Just across the border into Hampshire at a place called Blashford Lakes. So let's get the kit together and head off and see what we can see. Very bright, and from this direction I'll be shooting into the sun, so might get some nice backlit shots. Right. Well, here we are at the Ivy North Hide. Let's go in. Fairly typical hide. And what's the view like? Well, what lake there is a long way away. Shall we check out the woodland hide? This is a beautiful hide, and there's a feeding station and loads of what looks like props. Well, that's a bit of a shame. None of these windows actually open. The only ones which open look back onto the footpath, which is not much of a hide at all. Huh. So, let's try the Ivy South Hide. I'm really not sure why they've got non-opening windows in a bird hide. Very strange. And finally we arrive at the Ivy South Hide. Well, so far this trip's been a complete failure. Nice hides, but nothing to see at the moment. Although that last hide I was in, they were saying that there's some other hides over the other side of the road which I'm going to go and check out. And that one there, apparently there is a resident kingfisher comes out now and again, but they said they haven't seen him today. So, we are going to head back up to the car park and across the road to the other side where there's another lake and there's some other hides. And apparently there are some Egyptian geese, some goosanders, some sand martins. So let's go and see if we can see them. Oh, and here we are finally at the Goosander Hide with a swift and house martin tower. Wrong time of day for that. But I'm surprised at the colours in the trees. These silver birch are on the turn already. I suspect with the very hot and dry summer we've had, we may well get an early autumn this year. Let's get into the hide. All right. Well, that was an interesting hide. I saw some, I think dunnocks, I'll have to check, a robin, loads of coots, seagulls. Well, I have to say, they've laid this place out really nicely. There's a couple of good-sized lakes. These footpaths are well maintained, and it's quite pleasant coming through the woods rather than walking out in the sunlight today, I must say. Well away from the road. The hides are quite a long way apart, so if you're going to come down here, you need to have a good pair of shoes and be prepared to walk quite a long way. I'm guessing, I could probably measure on the maps, but it's certainly probably 1.5 kilometre round trip, maybe 2 to the hides on the south side, the Ivy Pond south. It's a good bit further than that to get up to the Goosander Hide. I didn't go to the Lapwing Hide today, which is even further on, and I'm now heading to the Tern Hide, and at the moment the footpath between the Goosander and the Tern is closed. So you've got to come all the way back to the car park and across the road again. So it is quite a walk. You've got to be prepared for that. So, decent pair of shoes. In this weather, my trainers are absolutely fine. But once you get to the autumn and it starts to rain some more, I would suggest a good pair of boots. Well, this seems to have turned into more of a, what would you call it? almost a review of a nature reserve rather than someone's left a hat. Rather than an actual shooting day at the wildlife reserve, it seems to have come across more as a bit of a review, a bit of a scouting mission, if you like. I suspect, and from what I've heard from some of the others, is that it's much more of a migratory place. So it could well be worth coming back in a couple of months, and definitely aim to be down here in spring for the incoming migrations. But it was nice to see the tern flying around, and hopefully so fast, and the autofocus just can't keep up with it half the time. But I did manage to get a little bit of video of it flying, and I think a couple of shots. Other than that, not really much to see today at all. We'll have to wait and see when I get back, see whether I actually got anything worth editing, see if I actually got anything worth putting on YouTube. But it's definitely a place that I'd like to return to. Hopefully, once this footpath through to the other hide is open, because at the moment it's a heck of a long detour. There are 2 car parks here though, so I'll bear that in mind next time I come and park in this car park rather than the one for the ivy hides. I'll come to this one because the Goosander and the Tern hides seem to be a little more populated by bird species, shall we say. Anyway, thanks for coming along with me on my first trip, my scouting trip to Blashford Lakes Wildlife Reserve, part of Hampshire and the Isle of Wight Wildlife Trust. And like the Wiltshire ones, they're free to enter, unlike the Somerset ones where you have to pay. And you can hear bird life in the woodland. I had a woodpecker earlier but couldn't spot it. Very well laid out, very well maintained, quite spread out, so do prepare for quite a lot of walking. So, thanks again for coming along with me. See you on the next one.